My toughest fight. Well, I had a lot of tough fights, but I guess the toughest and hardest fight was with Benny Leonard, stated Ever Hammer. I'm Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I'm going to talk about Benny Leonard and Ever Hammer. Benny Leonard's to your left and Ever Hammer is to your right. Hammer was from Chicago, Illinois, and Benny Leonard was from the Lower East Side of Manhattan. He was a ring great, wound up becoming a lightweight champion who would fight the Scotch Wop. Fought him 8 times. His name was Johnny Dundee. And Benny Leonard started out not wanting to become a professional fighter. Family needed the money. And he came back home with a fistful of dollars, and his mom cried and found out that he was fighting. When the dad came home, he counted the money, wanted to know when Benny was going to fight again. And from that point, Benny Leonard was a whirlwind. He was an icon on the Lower East Side in the Jewish community. Born October 30th, 1894. On the north side of the Swedish immigrants was Ever Hammer. He was a former grocery store delivery boy who decided to become a boxer ever since Hammer turned professional in 1913 after meeting Howard Carr, who was a manager and a gym owner, also known as Kid Howard. He was a former fighter. March 2nd, 1916, in Wisconsin, won a 10-round decision, newspaper decision, over a top contender. His name was Joe Willing. And Joe Willing would be the fighter, along with Johnny Dundee, who participated in the first fight under the Walker Law, 1920. And Joe Willing was an opponent who fought under the New York Sack. It was an opportunity for him to become a champion. Came short. Johnny Dundee would become champion. And ever since Hammer would face Ad Wargas, knows that the Michigan Wildcat had faced Mexican Joe Rivers. The referee at that time was Jack Welch, who ironically was also the referee for the Jack Johnson and Jess Willard fight in Cuba Havana, 1915. Where Jack Welch would count out Mexican Joe Rivers as he was helping up Ad Wargas. Ad Wargas is to your right, and Mexican Joe Rivers is to your left. (1912), the famous double knockdown. Referee Jack Welch would count out Joe Rivers while helping up to his feet Ad Wargas. Johnny Dundee, east side of Chicago, Indiana, would face off with Ever Hammer. Johnny Dundee is to your left and Ever Hammer is to your right. And I mentioned this many times, but Johnny Dundee would be known as the Scotch Wop. Magnificent rope dancer. He could ride with the best of them. Johnny Dundee was in a ring with fighters such as Freddie Welch and Willie Ritchie, Johnny Kilbane, Benny Leonard, Richie Mitchell, Packy McFarland. Outstanding fighters who Johnny Dundee would be in the ring with. Who would face Sid Terrace and many other fighters during his day. Convention Hall, Kansas City, October 18th, 1916. Ever Hammer would finally face Benny Leonard. Now, Benny Leonard was a hell of a fighter. I have him rated along with Joe Gans, the greatest lightweight champion in all of boxing. And Hammer states, and I quote, that Leonard, he never gave me a chance to lead and tie me up every time he got a chance. He was right on top of me from the opening bell. And every clinch and every passing, he always grabbed and turned me at all times. Mixed up his attack, boxed and jabbed, moved and slugged, uppercuts, but he never threw a body shot at me. The Cutman and Gibson and all the boys were busy cleaning my eyes full of blood. Ever Hammer had kept fighting back. By the mid-rounds, Benny Leonard's nose began to bleed, and his mouth was very swollen. Benny Leonard and Ever Hammer under the head and elbows, ripping body shots and uppercuts. And surprisingly, Benny Leonard would throw body shots back at me. August 8, 1922, in Michigan City, Indiana, Leonard won a clear-cut uppercut according to the newspaper decisions. So in the 10th round, a magnificent fight would take place between Benny Leonard and Chicago's Ever Hammer. What a fight between these two men. That's the way they fought during those days. Ever Hammer does not get the credit he surely deserves. He was in there with some of the great fighters of his day. And when you're in there with the Ghetto Wizard, Benny Leonard, you are a fighter. Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Until next time. Peace.